It was a Tuesday night, the kind of night where the city hums with a low, constant energy, but inside, everything felt still. In July 2023. The summer air hung heavy, even indoors, a stark contrast to the lightness I craved in my life. I sat in my small apartment surrounded by takeout containers, a monument to my poor choices and even poorer planning. Each container was a reminder of another night I hadn't cooked, another dollar spent without thinking. Staring at my bank account, negative balance. The red numbers seemed to mock me, a constant flashing reminder of my financial failures. Credit card debt, a tangled web of purchases I could barely remember, each swipe a step further into the hole. A car loan, a necessary evil that felt more like a ball and chain, anchoring me to a life I wasn't even sure I wanted, and a net worth I dreaded to calculate. It wasn't just zero. It was significantly less than zero, a number that felt like a personal indictment. Despite a decent job, I was living paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by with nothing left over for savings, for investments, for a future, always running on a treadmill. I was expending so much energy but getting absolutely nowhere. That night, something snapped. The weight of it all, the sheer hopelessness, became unbearable. I was done with the stress, the constant anxiety that gnawed at me, stealing my sleep and poisoning my days, and the feeling of being one emergency away from disaster. A flat tire, a doctor's visit, anything could send me spiraling. Social media showed people my age living large, seemingly effortlessly, traveling the world, buying houses and enjoying a life of luxury. And I felt a mix of jealousy and frustration. Why them? What were they doing that I wasn't? But then I wondered, was it all just luck? What if they weren't just lucky? What if there was more to it than chance encounters and fortunate circumstances? What if they knew something I didn't? Some secret, some strategy, some fundamental understanding of money that I was missing. I decided to stop making excuses, to stop blaming the system, my upbringing, or anything else, and start taking responsibility. It was time to own my situation, to acknowledge my mistakes, and to actively work towards a better future. No lottery win, no inheritance. I knew that if things were going to change, it would be because of my own efforts. Just a quiet decision to change. A silent vow to myself that I would no longer accept this reality. I promised myself that I would dedicate myself to learning everything I could about personal finance. For the next 2 years, I'd become obsessed with my finances. I would immerse myself in books, articles, podcasts, anything that could give me an edge. I'd learn, try, and track everything. Every expense, every investment, every strategy would be meticulously documented and analyzed. My goal, a tangible, measurable objective to strive for. A net worth of $100,000 by July 2025. A seemingly audacious target, but one that I felt compelled to pursue. It felt impossible, a distant dream that was probably out of reach. But for the first time I was excited. A spark of hope had ignited within me, a belief that maybe, just maybe, I could actually do this. That night I grabbed a notebook, a fresh start, a blank canvas on which to paint my new financial future, and wrote my goal at the top, $100,000 net worth. Boldly, defiantly, as if simply writing it down could somehow make it real. I listed every debt, a comprehensive inventory of my financial obligations, credit cards, car loan, everything. No hiding, no sugarcoating, just the cold, hard truth. Seeing the numbers hurt, a sharp, stinging reminder of the hole I had dug myself into. But it was my starting line, the point from which I would begin my ascent. This was my point A, the absolute bottom, the foundation upon which I would build my financial future. From now on, every financial decision would answer one question, a simple, yet powerful filter for all my spending. Does this get me closer to my goal? A constant reminder of my priorities, a way to stay focused on the bigger picture. The journey began, not with a windfall, not with a stroke of luck, but with something far more valuable. But with a promise to myself, a commitment to change, to grow, and to create the life I truly desired. I was ready to take control, to steer my own ship, to navigate the financial seas with purpose and determination. I knew it would be hard, but I was done waiting for luck. I was ready to work, to hustle, to learn, and to grow. I was going to build my own future, one decision at a time. Brick by brick, dollar by dollar, I would construct a life of financial freedom. That night, I became the architect of my financial life. I started designing the blueprint for a future I could be proud of. No more blaming circumstances. No more dwelling on the past or lamenting my previous mistakes. No more waiting for a miracle. No more hoping for a lucky break to magically solve all my problems. Just action starting from less than zero. a long and arduous climb, but one I was finally ready to undertake. The first step was the hardest, facing the truth, acknowledging the problem, and committing to the solution. But it was also the most important. It set the tone for everything that would follow, a declaration of intent, a turning point. My journey to six figures had officially begun. The road ahead was long, but I was finally on my way. The first step wasn't earning more, it was changing my mindset. I used to see money as a tool for instant gratification. If I had it, I spent it. That thinking kept me broke. I had to rewire my brain. Money is a tool for freedom, not just spending. Every dollar saved was a soldier for my future. I challenged my old beliefs like money is evil, and replaced them with money is a tool for good. I adopted a new identity, not a spender, but a saver and investor. When tempted by impulse buys, I'd ask, is this what a smart investor would do? This shift made it easier to say no to things that didn't serve my goals. It wasn't about deprivation. It was about choosing lasting rewards over fleeting thrills. I changed my influences too. I stopped watching consumerist vlogs and started following personal finance creators. Their stories made my goal feel possible. Saving aggressively and living below my means became normal. Immersing myself in this mindset kept me focused, even when it was tough. The right mindset was the foundation for everything that followed. You can't change what you don't measure. It's a simple truth but profoundly powerful when it comes to your finances. If you're not tracking where your money is going, you're essentially flying blind. I decided to take control. And the first step was simple, yet eye-opening. I tracked every single expense for 30 days, every coffee, every snack, every forgotten subscription. No matter how small or insignificant it seemed, I wrote it down. The results, when I finally tallied everything up, were shocking. Hundreds wasted on convenience like food delivery and unused subscriptions that were just silently draining my account each month. This was my found money. It was like discovering a hidden stash I didn't even know I had. I realized that by making a few simple changes, I could easily free up $500, $600 a month. That's a significant amount of money, and the best part, I could do it without sacrificing my quality of life. It wasn't about deprivation, it was about being smarter with my spending. I decided to take things a step further and built my first real budget, using the 50-30-20 rule, but I made it even more aggressive to accelerate my savings. Needs, savings, wants. These became my guiding categories. I set a goal and aimed to push savings higher every month, even if it was just by a little bit. Every bit counts. To make it even easier, I automated transfers to savings and investments, paying myself first before I even had a chance to think about spending the money elsewhere. The budget wasn't a prison, it was freedom. It was a tool that empowered me to make conscious choices about my money. I could spend guilt-free on wants, knowing that I had already taken care of my needs and savings. But once the money allocated for wants was gone, it was gone. No exceptions. I started meal prepping on Sundays, canceled unused subscriptions that I barely remembered signing up for, and brewed my own coffee at home instead of hitting up the expensive coffee shop every morning. These weren't sacrifices in my mind, they were conscious choices that aligned with my financial goals. I traded small, fleeting pleasures for the bigger, more rewarding goal of financial independence and long-term security. Tracking my expenses and creating a budget gave me a sense of control over my destiny that I had never experienced before. Every dollar had a job, a purpose, a designated place to go. I finally stopped wondering where my money went each month, feeling lost and confused about my spending habits. Instead, I started telling it where to go, directing it towards my goals and priorities. The leaks were plugged and my savings grew steadily month after month. The secret wasn't earning more money, it was learning to use what I already had, but in a much smarter and more efficient way. This was the turning point in my financial life. I finally felt in control of my finances, empowered to make informed decisions about my future. The journey was real, the progress was tangible, and most importantly, it was working. Education was my secret weapon. I devoured personal finance books, starting with The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. His baby steps gave me a plan to crush debt. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins made investing simple. Buy and hold a low-cost index fund. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi taught me to automate savings and spend on what matters. The Millionaire Next Door shattered my image of wealth. Real millionaires live simply and invest quietly. These books became my mentors. They gave me strategies, confidence, and a new perspective. I learned to hate debt, love automation, and value stealth wealth. I stopped trying to impress others and started building real wealth. The right books changed my life and my bank account. Cutting expenses only goes so far. There's no limit to how much you can earn. My job was stable but not enough to hit $100,000 in 2 years. I started income stacking freelancing as a graphic designer on Upwork and Fiverr. It was slow at first, but soon I was earning $500, $800 extra a month. I sacrificed free time, but every dollar went straight to savings and investments. Then I started buying vintage games and electronics at garage sales, selling them on eBay. Some months I made $200, others $600. All side hustle money went directly to my high-yield savings and investment accounts. I never let it touch my regular checking account. Stacking income streams doubled my savings rate. I didn't wait for a promotion, I built my own raises. The key: every extra dollar had a job. My net worth grew faster than I thought possible. Earning more was the accelerator, and I was in the driver's seat. As my income grew, I faced a new threat: lifestyle creep. Most people spend more as they earn more, staying stuck on the treadmill. I made a rule: my lifestyle stays the same, but my assets grow. I kept my apartment, my car, my grocery budget. No one knew my income had doubled. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was building my future. Every extra dollar went into assets, index funds, not new gadgets. I called it asset creep. Watching my investment accounts grow was more satisfying than any upgrade. True wealth isn't about what you spend, it's about what you own. For 2 years, I funneled all extra income into my goals. It was a short-term sacrifice for long-term freedom. I was buying my independence, not just stuff. That's the real upgrade. Saving is only half the battle. Investing is where wealth grows. Inflation eats away at cash, so I had to put my money to work. The stock market seemed scary, but I kept it simple. No stock picking, no timing. I opened a Roth IRA and made it my mission to max it out. Automatic transfers every month, priority after my emergency fund. Inside, I bought a total stock market index fund, instant diversification. I bet on the entire US economy, not just one company. Dollar cost averaging kept me steady no matter what the market did. After maxing my Roth IRA, I opened a taxable brokerage account for extra side hustle money. Same strategy, total stock market index fund. Some months the market dropped, but I stuck to the plan. Over 2 years, my investments became the biggest part of my net worth. Compound growth did the heavy lifting. I didn't have to be a genius, just consistent. Investing turned my savings into real wealth. The scariest step became the most rewarding. My money was finally working for me. That's how fortunes are built. And I was on my way. Small habits made a huge difference. I started no-spend days, 1 or 2 days a week with zero spending. It rewired my brain and made me more resourceful. The 30-day rule: wait a month before buying anything over $50. Most wants faded away, saving me thousands. Weekly financial reviews kept me accountable and motivated. I caught problems early and celebrated progress. I learned to use what I already had before buying new. This mindset fought consumer culture and saved money. These habits, practiced consistently, built my discipline. They made saving automatic, not painful. The little things added up to big results. 2 years later, I hit my goal: $100,000 net worth. Here's how it broke down. My investment portfolio, Roth IRA and brokerage, was about $65,000. My high-yield savings held $20,000 for emergencies. My paid-off car was worth $8,000. I had $2,000 in checking for bills. Flipping inventory added another $5,000. Total assets, $100,000. Liabilities, zero. I'd paid off all debt, credit cards, car loan, everything. The formula was simple: assets minus liabilities. No windfalls, just steady progress. Aggressive investing, disciplined saving, and debt elimination built my net worth. It wasn't magic, it was math. Breaking it down made it real and achievable. Anyone can follow this blueprint. The journey was hard, but the result was worth it. I proved it's possible. And I'm just getting started. This is how you build wealth from zero. You can absolutely do this too. It might seem daunting, but financial freedom is within your reach, no matter where you're starting from. I didn't have a six-figure job to begin with. My career started like many others, with a modest income and a lot of hard work. I didn't have rich parents, or a lucky break that magically solved all my money problems. There was no inheritance or sudden windfall. In fact, I started with debt and a pretty bad money mindset, full of limiting beliefs about what I could achieve financially. The core principles are surprisingly simple. Spend less than you earn, making conscious choices about where your money goes. Invest the rest wisely, even if it's just a small amount to begin with, and be patient. Compounding takes time, so consistency is key. The biggest obstacle is often mindset and deeply ingrained habits, not necessarily your current income. It's about changing your relationship with money. Don't wait for the perfect time because it will never arrive. Start now with what you have, where you are. Calculate your net worth, even if it's negative. Knowing your starting point is crucial. Track your spending meticulously for at least 30 days. Understand where your money is actually going. Read just one personal finance book. Educate yourself on the fundamentals. Open a Roth IRA, even if you start small with just a few dollars. Get the account established. The first step doesn't have to be big or dramatic, just a small, deliberate movement in the right direction. Remember, small, consistent actions, repeated day after day, compound into massive results over time. Set a big, exciting, audacious goal, write it down in detail, then tell someone you trust about it. Your compelling goal will keep you laser-focused and motivated, especially when things inevitably get tough and challenging. Always remember, you're not depriving yourself of anything. You're consciously trading today's fleeting consumption for the promise of tomorrow's lasting financial freedom and security. So, take just one small action right now. Calculate your current net worth, download a simple budgeting app to your phone, or simply write down your primary financial goal in a notebook. And then, share your goal in the comment section below. Let us know what you're working towards. Let's build a supportive community of action takers, all striving towards a brighter financial future together. Remember, the path to true financial independence is a marathon, requiring endurance and consistent effort, not a quick sprint. But every marathon, no matter how long, always starts with a single, deliberate step forward. So take that crucial first step today. Don't delay. Your future, financially independent self will undoubtedly thank you for the actions you take today.